We are back with Christine Tan, Portfolio Manager at Sun Life's SLGI Asset Management. Christine, economists at Scotia, both Derek Holt and Rebecca Young, have come out with criticism of the economic and fiscal platforms from both the Tories and the Liberals. One criticism that seems to be we're hearing quite a bit of Pierre Poilievre, the Tory leader's platform, is that he's assuming quite the pickup in economic activity from his tax cuts and deregulation. And of course, it's always easy to make rosy forecasts, but it depends what you put into the model. Garbage in, garbage out, that can be a criticism.
I think, our view is, first of all, it's a very tight election. Mm-hmm. It's probably the most important election in, I'll speak to it for at least for my lifetime so far. Mm-hmm. And what our team has been saying to clients is that there are a few major issues that whoever wins or whichever party or new prime minister comes in needs to address. First, obviously, being trade, which we've just been talking extensively about. Second is this whole thing about investing in Canada, maybe rewiring the economy to be more self-reliant. Mm-hmm. A key part of that will be energy policy, infrastructure spending. Also looking forward in terms of future-proofing, investing in sectors that perhaps currently isn't really as big as it could be in Canada, like mm-hmm. the digital sector, for example. So we haven't really provided a view specifically on either budgets. We think obviously each budget has its own approach, and each political party certainly has their own priorities that do differ from each other. But high level, we think there are a few core items that whoever wins needs to address, especially in the next 12 to 18 months. Right.
Carney is apparently attracting attention for his promises or projections that he'll achieve major savings from efficiency, government efficiency. Always a slippery word there. RBC, for example, says that these are opaque, that he's not explaining how he's actually going to achieve this.
Yeah, it's with any kind of plan, I guess. And again, this time around, there seems to be a lot more scrutiny, given how important the election and the next 12 to 18 months are. Mm-hmm. But I would say in terms of formulating plans, there's always a certain level of assumptions. So you mentioned for the Conservatives, it's on the revenue side. On the Liberal side, it's on the cost savings. So recognizing that there are assumptions being made, I think it's too soon to tell. What we're going to be looking for, what we believe will happen either way, is right now there's uncertainty as to which direction or which priorities will Canada focus on over the next 12 to 18 months. We think regardless, by next Tuesday, maybe even Monday night, we will at least have that certainty. And I think that to some extent will at least mm-hmm. allow us to kind of figure out what the framework will be and what the path will be for the Canadian economy. I know I'm sort of not providing you a specific answer, but it's so hard when you're trying to formulate a budget. There are going to be assumptions, and it's clear both parties made different assumptions.
Yeah, and the tariff war, of course, is the joker in the pack. How
Correct.
bad is it going to be?
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. And to some extent, and both candidates have talked about it, and we keep talking about just the two candidates because they are the leading candidates
right.
at the moment.
I mean, one of them's going to be in government.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And they've both acknowledged that there's going to be a lot of flux. And part of what you're going to have to do as the leader, as the next leader, is you're going to have to be flexible. So if we're now hearing that maybe auto tariffs there's going to be exemptions, so maybe that's less of a focus if mm-hmm. that's not a tariff issue.
When I think about if I was going to set up a company in Canada, I would be deterred by the tax burden, and I'd be deterred by the endless red tape. And I don't see any real. I mean, I know both candidates are talking about possible tax mm-hmm. reductions, but the red tape, I have no faith that they're going to be able to get rid of that.
It's certainly a challenge, and one thing that we've talked about is the importance of reducing interprovincial trade barriers, which is something that you're sort of alluding to. Is it easy? Probably not. But again, one of the things that we've communicated is that maybe Trump is a good thing for Canada. It is bringing together this unity. It is really encouraging leaders to think differently, reimagining how Canada could operate as an economy. But to your point, it is difficult. What I would highlight, though, is yes, taxes might be higher in other jurisdictions, but companies also benefit from certain, I'll call it social structures, like healthcare, that obviously becomes less of a burden on the company that's operating in Canada.
Thanks very much, Christine, for
Thank
joining
you.
us. Christine Tan has been our guest portfolio manager at Sun Life's SLGI Asset Management.